What is up? What is up? What is up? Hey, what's going on, Jay? What is going on? How y'all feeling? Ooh, this is a topic. I was like, I need to talk about this because this one is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hey, what's going on, Jordan? What is up? We gonna really talk about it because I've been seeing a lot going on lately. Just a quick little observation that I've been seeing with the mans. There's a lot of abstinence versus celibacy going on in the dating community. I've been noticing a lot of men practicing abstinence though. Shout out to the men's. Shout out to the men's that have been practicing that. It's hard to turn sex off. One of the reasons is because it's everywhere you look. Advertisements, TVs talked about, and songs. It's everywhere. I mean, I think that's an excuse. Just because you see it in advertisements, that don't mean like so willpower is a muscle though. It's literally a muscle. Like, let's really think about it. Just because you see something all the time, if someone's trying to feed you poison all the time, are you just gonna be like, you know what, just because it's in my face all the time, let me go ahead and dabble in it. I might die, might not, nah. So that's really not, just because it's talked about in the songs, you could easily just choose not to listen to it. So that's not really excuse. It's not hard to turn sex off. It's only as hard as you make it. Quick math. Let's talk about real quick math. The best math that anybody can learn is how much your current decision will cost you in the future. I mean, of course, but you still choose. You the gatekeeper of your energy. You do know that, right? You choose what you want to listen to. You choose what you choose to consume. Now, consumption is what you choose to eat, what you choose to watch, and what you choose to hear. If you are choosing to listen to those frequencies in the music, then you will be a part of that said frequency. You have a choice. It's just about choice, literally. What you decide what you want to watch. It comes from a lot. It comes from not just knowing your worth, but you also have to understand, like, all right, well, Now, listen. Now, first, okay, before we get into it, because I like where this is going. 904, you got it going. You got it going, 904. You tapped in. I feel that. First, I wanna let's talk about what abstinence is and what celibacy is. Because a lot of people be talking about, I mean, I really be hearing the females saying, oh, I'm celibate and this, that, and the third. And next thing you know, the right one come along and they let them buy a bit. Okay, so let's get to let's distinguish what celibacy is versus abstinence. Okay, just in real simple terms, abstinence is something that it's like it's a temporary refrain for more so focused on delaying or say limiting, since we're talking about sexual activity. Celibacy represents a more permanent decision to eliminate sexual relationships for, let's just say, religious reasons or spiritual. Now, both of them, it can be for spiritual, for spiritual reasons. But if you are really, say, making a commitment to it, understanding certain factors, maybe it's like age, health, marriage, or whatever the case is, that's what really this distinguishes the difference between abstinence and celibacy. Because it's a lot of women on here to talk about, I'm celibate, I've been celibate for 9 years, I've been celibate for 1 year, but then it's on contingency based upon if the right one comes along. When you claim celibacy, that means you are claiming it for, let's just say religious reasons or whatever. Abstinence is really just refrain. You are refraining. You can be abstinence from anything, drinking, this, that, and the third, or whatever. So abstinence is refraining from it. Since we are talking about sex, this is refraining from it. You are choosing an active choice to not indulge in sexual activities. That is your choice. It is on and off. It is a temporary decision. It ain't saying it's off the table. It is just a temporary decision to say, I'm not going to dabble in that because of blah, 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 blah. Whatever your choice is, if you choose to, that abstinence road is yours. Celibacy is real, like, yeah, majority of the times it's literally a solid ass commitment, like a commitment to yourself. And maybe like some people, for they join like a religious group or something like that, and that's what they have to practice is celibacy. I don't know if you want to be a monk, you want to be a nun, you want to be Christian, you want to be Muslim, you want to be this, whatever it is that you choose, that is what that is. Okay? Yes. Self-discipline is a part of abstinence. Hands down. Hands down. And not for nothing, every time, and it's just, I just find it so interesting because I see it a lot in the single community, the dating community. And when I'm looking at men speak on this, a lot of men are saying that they are practicing semen retention or abstinence. So when they start to say their reason why, it is very different from the opposite sex. A lot of times it seems like men are practicing abstinence because the motherfucking economy. I'ma say it. I'ma straight up say it. Okay? I'ma say it. Yo, that's facts. A lot of people out here having sex, and they passing on a lot. They over there exchanging demons and exchanging fucking low vibrations and energies and whatever the case is. Yeah, whatever men choose. I've just been noticing that the reason why a lot of men are literally like choosing, because y'all hear me say this a lot, the economy shapes relationships. Let people tell you what you want or whatever the case is, but the reasons why a lot of men are really choosing abstinence is because, and I'm gonna keep it a buck, women are expensive. I don't care what kind of woman it is. I don't care the caliber of a woman. Women are expensive. Females are expensive. And when I say expensive, that means I'm not just talking about what you are giving to her in the monetary value. It is about the time, the energy, and you being in proximity of women. Even you just getting yourself ready to go see said woman. You got to just think about the steps you as a man gotta take to go see that woman. You gotta get a haircut, you gotta get fresh, you gotta get this. All that shit costs money. You got your own personal maintenance. But then when it comes to even going out and all this other stuff, that costs money. Listen, y'all could sit here, y'all could front. I ain't with the fake flexing or nothing. This economy is fucked up. Inflation is still here. Listen, it's not even inflation at this point. It is now just the new price. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Okay? Facts. Crystal, listen, it's either you gonna pick an asset or a liability in a female, fellas. Women are expensive. Don't let these niggas out here in the red pill, blue pill, green pill, yellow pill, purple pill, I don't care what pill it is. Don't let these people sit here and tell you females is not expensive, because I'm telling you right now, if you believe that they're not, you will be hooked up. I'm gonna tell you, because you got to think about it, yo. If you practice abstinence, right? Let's say men, they're practicing abstinence because besides the fact that they're trying to get their mind right, body right, they're trying to stay focused and without the distractions and all that other stuff, you got to understand, if a man is sitting here spending his time or choosing to spend time, now I don't care what kind of man you are. I don't care if you in the dating game. I don't care if you have a roster. I don't care if you don't have a roster. I don't care if you like roster pasta. What I'm telling you is that when you choose to engage with said woman or womans, that energy that you're putting out, you don't know. Listen, imagine you getting a low energy female. Imagine you get a low energy female. Or you over here, you talking to shorty, and next thing you know, you like, damn, like after a conversation with her or being around her, or let's just say you think she is the hottest thing since sliced bread. Now you over there seeing like, damn, this chick, she emotionally, she not right. Now look, now the expenses start adding up, because now, y'all are sought as a protector and provider. Here you go, putting the cape on, standing there like I am Captain Save a Ho. And now look at you. Now you're spending all this energy and this time trying to create an experience. Don't let these women sit here and try to lie to you, talking about, oh, I'm simple, I'm this, that, and third. Listen, you got to pick and choose your battles. There is levels, okay? There is a spectrum. There's a spectrum to everything. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. And I'm glad you said that, 904. A lot of men don't know how to maintain a healthy relationship without sex. And the same thing goes. Listen, there's things that I tell my male clients. I tell my male clients, when my single male clients, when they're in the dating game, take intimacy off the table. Because what that does is that a woman has to show up in a different manner, her inherent value. The same way if it goes with, let's just say you as a man, you're always leading with your hand. You're leading with your money, or you're leading with something specific. If you come across a female that don't need that, then what? You have to show up in a different way outside of your inherent value of whatever that is. There's something else. So when you take certain things off the table and you actually get to know, then that's a different story. It's not to say that sex is off the table. It's just put to the side. There's other levels of intimacy. That's the thing about it. There's other levels of intimacy. So I'm talking to the men who have a half a brain and who are literally like actively like, yo, you know what? I'm focused. I'm building. If he got all this stuff here and he's been working and doing what he needs to do, then why would he not be more responsible? Because men are not taught discernment. Y'all are not taught discernment. Y'all are taught to adapt. Y'all are taught to know how to move when shit gets crazy. But when it comes to the discernment, and especially when it comes to women, it's not there. It's something that is y'all learn through experience. Y'all are more risk takers. So the women be expensive. It'd be expensive. So you have to realize, like, okay, let me turn around and see if my universal bank, my bank is able to handle said woman. And then also, if he is abstaining, then that means, guess what? He gets clear, he got more focus, he can see a lot of shit. And the dating game gets real easy for a man. They out here, like, look, the economy is fucked up. The economy shapes relationships. So you got a lot of men, like I said, there's a lot of men out here that's just like, look, baby, you look good. I like how you look. I like how you're walking. I like how you're talking. You still have some left? Yeah. Okay, just put it up there. Like how you walking. I like how you talking. But you know how to run the play. As much as you can fuck up a check, can you run the shit back? Because what I got here, it's good. I got my resource. I am a very resourceful human. But if I share these resources with you and I put you in a position, what you gonna do with it? Do you know the maintenance to what I got going here? It don't matter what kind of man you are. I don't care what tax bracket you in. Because it also allows you time to think about the type of woman or whatever it is that you into, that you want in your life. Because you got to remember, when you get certain blessings and you start to get up there, you're not the same person. Your requirements to keep you up, to maintain you, change mentally, physically, emotionally. You even start to understand, like, damn, you know what? This lover boy shit, I really am a lover boy. And it's okay. You a lover boy, but with discernment. When you master that discernment, that is a skill. When you pay attention to the stitches and seams of yourself, you pay attention to the stitches and seams of a woman. Because then you start to realize that certain things that you thought is not what really is. It's not your job to do certain things. It's not your job to talk about, because you got the ones that be like, he doesn't make me feel safe to be in my femininity. That's not your job to teach her how to be a feminine. If you are opening the doors and you are continuing the chivalry, you're taking care of yourself, why would you not want that in a partner? If you read books, what is she doing? People want to scream emotional intellect, but they lack awareness. Everybody talk about, I want a man with emotional intellect. Not emotional awareness. You know how he gets that emotional awareness? Abstinence. It's too costly. Women cost a lot. So when he starts doing the math and he starts figuring out, okay, do I have enough time and energy, emotions, and all this other stuff too? Can I show up for this? Can I show up? Can I be said person for what I am looking for? Am I the energy that I want to receive, or am I just going to keep going out here and just dropping dick off? I mean, let's talk about it. Because even when you sitting here and you going on them dates and stuff like that, it's just like, all right, what mind frame you in? What space are you looking for? Think about it. Some women, you can give them the world and they will still find something to be unhappy about. Not all, but some. Yeah. Because a lot don't know themselves. To know thyself, you got to sit with thyself. See, the thing about it is that, like, I want to say sex is overrated. The thing is that when you have a real, actual emotional connection, sex is very different. See, that's the thing about it. When you have, because just think about it like this. If you have been having, say, sex from a space of what you thought was emotions, what you thought was safety, of all of what you thought. Or especially if you have been having sex for being emotionally, like, say, fucked up, unavailable, unstable, whatever the case is. Because a lot of people who have like emotional trauma are really the most promiscuous, male or female. It doesn't matter. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Think about it. Now, this don't mean that, you went through like traumatic stuff, but people who have not tended to those emotional wounds tend to be the most promiscuous. So that way, so now when they view sex, it's just for a void. It's not for, oh, I'm what they think that is love or whatever. Like, no, when you have a real emotional connection, and this is men too, you gonna end up coming across someone where it's just like a real one. And I'm talking about a real one where the sex is different. The sex will sit there and have you like, oh wow, you're not gonna have any doubts, you're not gonna feel a certain way. It's very different. It's very, very different. Because when you have that emotional connection and then you have sex with that person, when you have a real emotional connection, because you won't know what that is until you have one with yourself. You have to. Because a lot of times you got people that's dating out of here for survival. Let's not act like 2020 wasn't just 5 years ago. It hit very different. Very different. And if you disagree, that means you ain't turned around. Fellas, you ain't never had a double nut before. You ain't never turned around and actually been. It's very different. It hit different. I mean, there's a lot of things that women can look at when it comes to a man, but before a woman can even look at it, I mean, that's even very touchy. Every woman should see how a man treats his mama and sister before they decide to get with him. That's one of them too. But also a woman got to turn around and see how she treat herself before she get with a dude anyway. Because a lot of times what females tend to do is they date from a space of what the last person didn't do. So that's now their current standard. The last person didn't take them out, so now they are demanding the next person to take them out. Their standards and contingencies is all based off of what the last did not do. Instead of it's a lesson. So why did you allow that to fly? Why did you agree to that? Taking care of yourself is not just, self-care is not just from the consumerism aspect of facials and taking all that, taking yourself on vacations and stuff like that. Oh yeah, girl. Tanima, you ain't never lie. Because that's another thing too. He could turn around. Yep, that's a lie. Him and his mama will lie. And the sis too. You have to see the actual relationship. If there, I put it to you like this: your upbringing is very evident in your current relationships. So if you have, say, the feminines in his life that pacified him or let him turn around and go and fly with shit, then he's gonna be that same way. You got to see how a person shows up for themselves, period. How a person shows up for themselves is how they're gonna show up in a relationship. Okay. And like I said, a lot of men nowadays, because I see a lot of dudes out here who are practicing abstinence, and it's like it is attractive, and some of them, they're telling you, oh yeah, Crystal, oh, that's a weird one. But with the men, we're gonna talk about the men that's like that, like I said, they got a half a brain and they trying to do it out here. Those are the ones that are, that's the ones that's over here saying I'm gonna chill from having sexual relations. Those are the ones that's just like, all right, now I'm seeing certain things. A lot of stuff is coming to light. They're seeing it. They're definitely seeing it. Like I said, the economy shapes relationships, because it's like you gotta, it's just like I always say, like in the game of chess, a man only got one move one way. if he's not disciplined as far as like, if he, because you have to think about it, if a dude is trying to sit and trying to build an empire, and he is not moving from a disciplined space, or if he is easily swayed from, you know, just from his lusty loins, that's detrimental. It is detrimental to everything he got going on. All it takes is one freaking diabolical chick, and she could bring him down. You know how the saying goes. It's you hear the red pill dude say that all the time. Oh, see, it's always the women and this, that, and the third, or whatever. Yeah, you could blame the female, but you also got to blame that he allowed that shit. It doesn't matter what happens. You have to take accountability in the part that you played in your own suffering. See, that's why I say it's like men, after a while, they learn. You tell a dude, yo, refrain from it, scale back a little bit, so that way you could get your mind right and whatever. It's more than just them getting their mind right. It's just like they cannot afford. They can't afford. They cannot afford to be fucking with these females. They just can't. The economy won't allow it. Their wallets won't allow it. So it's just like, yo, if I'm spending time and energy, and then you spending coins on her, or if you knock the Sonic coins out of her, and now you knocking the damn common sense out of her, guess what's gonna happen? That current decision, how much is that going to cost you in the long run? And I ain't even talking about possibly having kids. That's just a whole other factor. That's a whole other factor. So if you're trying to build something, and let's just say if you are wanting to settle down, you are wanting a wife, then he working towards that. It's just like, yo, you know what? Because I already know my woman going to be expensive. She going to be expensive. Because what? He's going to, the protecting and providing aspect is not just what the fuck that shit was from back in the days in 1950s. So if you got the cost of living and it's astronomical, and he's trying to figure out, he's over here making smart decisions. Like, you know what? Right now I ain't got it. The type of female that I want, I gotta really work, because I have to show up a different way. You're not going to show up the same man that you was 10, 15, 20 years ago. No. Once again, the females are expensive. The type of woman that you want is expensive. Women are expensive. So if you meet a woman who got a half a brain, and she moving and grooving, and she got her shit together, and she's not a headache, she's not stressing you, how are you showing? You got to show up a different way. So that's the reason why it's just like a lot of men out here, they just like, nah, the expense of constantly just rotating or dating or going out is draining, and it's costly. Dates ain't that $200 date shit or whatever. That shit is out the window. You go to the movies, it's $200 and you ain't even go to dinner. So now just imagine you got to spend extra time and energy talking to her, getting to know her, and just imagine you over there talking to a female that's a couple of sandwiches short from a biscuit, short from a picnic. That shit costs. It's costly. There's a lot of things that's costly to men. And a lot of times, a lot of women are not thinking about that. You got women that want to dump and talk about, they're bringing in all this emotional baggage, and then they're just looking at the man like, yeah, it's here, and now it's time for you to take care of it. Better management skills now. Better management skills. For real. Because that one decision of getting wrapped up in the wrong female can really cost. It's costly. It is costly. It is costly. It's costly. Especially if she's not like, someone that is trying to like, you see, men have to adapt. A lot of females, a lot of women, see, women are learned discernment, but women are not are taught how to adapt. Men are not taught discernment, but men are taught to adapt. So if she doesn't have those capabilities, but she wants to be held captive to old modern times of dating, or still stuck in some sort of rut in the past, or whatever the case is, because a lot of women love past, a lot of women love talking about the future, even like her level of what nurturing is to a man. Some of that is from fucking parental wounds. So imagine if you're dealing with that, because you as men have to reprogram. So when they're reprogramming their way and their mental and how they view women, that is also contingent onto where they at in life. Economically, sometimes this shit is not fucking worth it. If you already just trying to, and like I said, this is not, I'm not talking about like, all these, women be having this whole fucking fantasy of like rich men or whatever, but it's just like, do you understand the maintenance of that man? Or even just the maintenance of, let's just say, a dude who is a maintenance man, just in general. There's things that change. So if men are now learning to have better discernment when it comes to picking a mate, and this is not about no 50-50 conversation or whatever, because at this point in time, this ain't about the 50-50. It's more so like, yo, can we work together and collaborate? Or are you just going to be on some, oh, you're the man, so you got to do it? Like, nah. If he is still in his group practicing this and doing all these like chivalry things. Now imagine if he's doing all this and now he's trying to get to know a female who is still stuck in the past, or still stuck in some sort of parental woman, or she has this, or whatever type of female that he's dating. He has to start doing the math like, yo, if I decide to go forward with this chick, how is this going to affect me in the long run? Because how she is now and how she moves is really going to determine what the motherfucking future holds for us. Talk about it. We women are taught to get a man and not taught how to keep him. Once again, we are taught that's that discernment. Oh, make sure he's this and make sure he's that. Make sure he's the biggest, strongest, and he could fight bears and he could do all this. That shit was, you know who was teaching you that? Your grandparents or your mother who wasn't chosen, or who was buying eggs for $1.29, who was hurt and all that. So now they're passing down that motherfucking trauma to you. And this is just, and we're talking about the Black and brown community. You got people that are, they're groomed. Every culture is different. Black and brown community, we already come into the game with a lot of shit, or whatever the case is. So when it comes to us, especially like just Black and brown women, it's just like, oh, okay, well, we're taught to survive, and a lot of women are still stuck in dating and survival. So now you have the men's who are like, all right, I got to start having better discernment and better choices, because I don't want to end up, because we seen what happened in 2020. Survival in crisis. There was a lot of babies that was made during that time. There was a lot of relationships, a lot of assets that were shared with the people that was only temporary, but they did it because they did not want to be alone during quarantine. That decision that they made in 2020 is now costing them whatever. So now you have the men, let's just say some men are out here just like, look, now, sometimes it only take a guy to learn one time, like, oh no, we gonna have to get this. Because right now, the economy looking crazy, shit is shifting, things is moving. So now as a man, they got to start moving and grooving. So just imagine, if you over here, you up here, you doing this, and then you dealing with a woman that's like this, and she just here. She just stuck like a motherfucking goldfish in the damn little cup, just going like this. And now you gotta be like, all right, here, I gotta do this. You gotta do that. You're pouring into that. That's expensive. That's costly. And those are the things that the men are looking at, because it's just like, yo, I don't give a fuck about your degrees. I don't care how much money you making. The thing is that, like, are you using that as an armor? Are you using that like when I was talking to my boys earlier, and he was just like, it's a turnoff when a female comes to me and says, oh, I got a degree in this and this and the third. He says, I don't care. He said, because then next thing you know, when you get to know them, he's like, they can't even, they don't even know how to show up. They don't know how to show up. You could have the accolades and you could have this, But then it's just like, okay, in the midst of you getting all those resources, did you use those resources to take care of yourself? Because a man has to be resourceful. A man is going to sit here and keep continuously working on getting all those resources. But men are being smarter about how they are sharing their resources. Because imagine trying to help someone that don't want to help themselves. Because that's been the continuing thing. It's costly. It's expensive. Women are expensive. And we ain't even talking about from the financial aspect. Women are expensive. We ain't putting in all the other factors. It is expensive nowadays. Just investing in the wrong conversation could fuck you up. So if you dealing with that, that's going to distract him from his goals or whatever it is that he got going on. Now he got to take the energy and all his upbeat energy or whatever it is, and he got to keep pouring into her. She don't want to move. He got to pour into her. He got to love her, and he got to pour into her. It is costly. It is costly. It costs time and energy. And time is the most precious thing. I don't know about y'all, but I know one damn thing. If you out here and you getting it or whatever, please just be mindful about how you are spending your time. How you are spending your time. It ain't cause these men's over here, they ain't having sex just because they can't get it. Cause motherfuckers, they can't get it. But they ain't trying to turn around and have sex and then be like, well, goddamn. Now I don't even feel like even going out. Now I gotta tend to you. I gotta give to you. Them build a bitch days is over. Them build a bitch days is over. Bitch, you better have them. You better do something. You better be having some sort of, you got to have that motivation. You can't be looking for him to give you the motivation if you lack motivation. Don't do it because, oh, he wants you to do it or whatever. Like, nah, if you going to do, just start something. I ain't saying you got to be out here looking like motherfucking Wonder Woman and being all like, nah. But be the energy you want to receive. You want a certain type of dude, then you got to be a certain type of female to get said dude. Because these dudes out here, they want a certain type of female and they're holding out. They like, nah, because that's that dopamine hit. When they see that the payoff and how they're paying themselves back. Because the more like a guy sees that how he feels, that's why I said like with men, every time when I've noticed the men's, when they refrain from having sex, their mind and they get that dopamine hit because they're noticing how more creative they are, how they have more energy, and they start, it's like you paying onus back to yourself. When you go without, it's not, they're not going without, oh, because they can't get it. Pussy come dime a dozen. You ain't the only one. He could get anyone to crack it open. But it's the quality that he wants. It's like, yo, just like he want a car, he want a nice car. It don't matter if it's an old school or if it's a new school. What he gonna do? He gonna work. And then what happens? When he finally gets that car that he want, it's a maintenance to it. It costs money. But when men start to see how that dopamine starts to hit when they refrain, they keep going. They keep going. They like, oh, nah, I like how this is. And it's just like as if like they're putting back into themselves and they're seeing that, oh, okay, now I got more energy. I'm not tired. I can see things clearly. And then also when they're dating, like I said, the dating process is quick. Because if she's just trying to throw it and he's just like, nah, hitting her with the Heisman, like, nah, hold on. I want to get to know you. Some chicks, they just start, oh my God. They start fucking acting like the damn gremlin when he put the water on her. Clip. Nope. Because now she got to show up different. Now that mask, one thing is off. Now he really getting to know her. Now he could really see the things that he wants in a specific type of partner. If he's looking for a wife or he's looking for a long-term, whatever it is that he's looking for, is she also something that he can integrate into what he's doing now, into his life? How can she fit into his life? Because that's what you're looking at. I want to see how she fit into my life. I want to see how we could integrate together into my life. It don't matter. You can have a PhD, you can have all this other stuff. That's cool. But let me see the stitches and the seams of you, mama. Let me really see how you are under pressure. Let me really see your built. Let me really see. All that paying the bills, I'm not worried about all that. Because I already know the resources and stuff that I have, but I need to know that you're not going to be a bill of motherfucking energy or time, or you're going to be an anchor, or you want to stay stuck. It's just, got to think about that. Word. Like, yeah, I think, shit. You got to focus on, it's a lot of things that you got to focus on. Let me turn this. STDs are no joke. Some will change your life forever. Be selective and know your self-worth. Yeah. But I mean, even knowing your self-worth, that's a journey within itself. It's too much shit going on just for that. Just in general. It takes, like, people gotta learn your self-worth. That's a journey. Cause you'll be surprised that all the shit that you was accepting and you thought was cool and all that changes. It's a big reprogram. It is a big reprogram, yo. Because some people don't know what their self-worth is because their worth was based on as much as they can do. And with a lot of men, that happens. A lot of times men feel like their self-worth is only based on what they can provide. Why? Because society has y'all always thinking that. Y'all are not just, protectors and providers. Like, no, your self-worth is not contingent based on that. It is not just about what you can bring to the forefront or whatever. Yes, be a resourceful man. Yes, be a man who can protect them. But how can you also protect yourself and provide for yourself as well? That has to start there, because if you don't know what your inherent value is outside of that, then you're going to be receptive to being somebody who's always trying to save, or you like boundaries. Because that's how a lot of times where men don't know discernment, because they're feeling like, oh, okay, my worth is only based on what I can give. And then they wonder why they end up in either transactional relationships or females that come in and they just take, and or they have to feel like they have to save. Like, nah, you got to stand on your square in a sense where it's just like, nah, my self-worth is it hit different. Men start to view even how like their relationship with money, how it is. They start to see the difference when in themselves, when let's just say they start to put back into their body. Because a guy could sit there and be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I got money in this, that, and the third, but he's unfit or he's unhealthy. You got all this motherfucking money, but yet you're not in the right mental stage. You're not in the right emotional stage. So let's just say you do all that and you pay it back to yourself. You pay it back to yourself. You show up because all that cooking and cleaning and domesticating bullshit, all that cooking and cleaning, that's nothing. That's light. That's light. Some men you got men nowadays that's like, yo, that domesticated, like, that ain't nothing. I could cook, I could clean, I could do all that. I could do all that myself. But what else? But what else is it that I require when it comes to me? What else is it? And it's beyond, that's why it's just like a lot of times where All of these men that are practicing abstinence, their mental and their crown, their third eye, all that is different. Their way of how they are viewing relationships is very different. It is very different because they see that the energy levels that they have. So now that's their hit. That's their hit. That's their dopamine hit. That's their dopamine hit. Because it's just like, all right, cool. Because at one point in time, like I said, outdated. That's that outdated dating. That's the outdated version of dating. The dating game is very different. The economy is very different. Anything, facts. Any female can do that. Because if you don't love yourself, or you trying to figure out like, oh, okay, you don't know, you don't have a level of self-identity and you don't love yourself, guess what? You gonna be looking around trying to figure out to everybody else like, oh, okay, you gonna be either be the people pleaser, you gonna be the pushover, you gonna be this, or you gonna keep trying to find yourself in everybody else. Or you gonna be looking for a partner to save. Because when you're looking out of lack, is you always gonna think everything is love. Are you dating in survival? Because there's a lot of people out here that's dating in survival right now. And then they get caught up. They get caught up. How you want to be loved? How you loving on yourself? You might be the type of guy that's like, look, I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I'm gonna wear long sleeves this time. You feel me? What is your definition of that? What's your definition of that? You won't know. Because how you loving on yourself is an example of how you want to be loved. Is exactly how you want to be loved. That's why I said the men, they just like, nah, they getting their mind right, body right, and getting their spirit right. And they just like, oh, okay. It's expensive out here in these streets. It's real expensive. If I take the time out, what is this going to turn into? The best math that you can do is how much your current decision is going to cost you in the long run. Because right now, we ain't got time to be fucking around. It's high as shit out here. It is high as shit. So you got to figure out, you got to pick and choose. You got to pick and choose your battles wisely. You got to see, because your criteria could definitely change the more you sit with yourself. And don't let nobody sit there and try to tell you anything different. Sometimes you need some alone time. You don't want to let loneliness have you end up busting it open or busting in something that you going to regret later, or you still going to feel unfulfilled. It ain't worth it. It is not worth it. Facts, a lot of us men aren't taught how to love ourselves when we're kids and end up making crazy decisions about love later. That's true. That's why, a lot of times, like, like I said, that's why I said men aren't really taught like discernment. It's just like y'all are just continuously taught to adapt. Y'all are taught to go out there, get that bed. You got to figure out on your own. So there's, once again, like how we are raised is very evident in our relationships. Everyone wants equal relationships, but few are willing to put in the work for it. Nothing easy is worth Wild. Mutual. If you want mutual, then you have to identify that when it is, and you have to be able to, once again, that's why I said be the energy you want to receive. Because if you want something where it's a mutual thirst, mutually beneficial, where y'all both are interdependent and integrating, because all that old independent woman shit or whatever the case is, yeah, whatever, that's cool, but that's also just that propaganda shit that's being pushed for females, and it's actually doing a lot of women discernment. I mean, it's actually doing a lot of women a disservice. All that shit that they pushing is to keep a lot of these females single. You feel me? They're weaponizing it. It's about interdependence. Because if you are hyper independent and you are constantly taught you don't do it yourself, do this, do that, you're not gonna know how to be a team player. All you're gonna know is, and then what's the drive behind it? What's the intention behind it? Like, there's a lot of things that go with that. Yes, you should be able to stand on your own. Hence why you got the men's that's out here that is now reprogramming and recalibrating the whole fucking scene, as far as like, all right, let me turn around and do some shit different. Okay? Because they're not taught to love on yourself, how to take care of yourself. It's just like they're taught, go out there. The men are taught, just go out there, just go be mules and go do this and go do that. Nah, you gotta, like, hold on. You ain't gotta keep on going, because now you got the weight of this, you got all this mental, and then let's just say you coming across a female and her idea of fucking nurturing is, oh, just cooking, cleaning, busting it open, and having you talk about your feelings. You thinking that's the norm because you didn't get that. Not realizing, hold on, that is not just all that I want. I want a motherfucking hug. I want this. I want that. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that I like these certain features about myself. Oh, wow, I'm very sensitive to touch. I'm very this. That's what happens, and that's what a lot of men are realizing when they are refraining and being abstinent from sex. That's the reason why now their standards and the criteria and things about them is changing, because they like, hold on, I now am noticing that one decision that I made back when I was either 15, 18, 21, or even 30 is now costing me a lot. Hold on, let me pump the brakes. What was I doing? So now the whole narrative, that's why I said, because you want to know why that happened, because now the economy is shaping relationships. Eggs is $10, $6, wherever the fuck you at. Things is changing, because the way how you are economically spending out here is it's crucial. It's crucial. It's now especially in this age group, because right now it's like the millennials. It's just like, yo, everything back then is totally different. You can't use the same formula that your grandparents or even your parents was using, because right now you got the baby boomers that they're already out the door. They take up, say, 50% of the income. I mean, excuse me, not the income, of the financial aspect. So they're already out the door. But when you're looking at how things, as far as cost wise, so if you got women still talking about, oh, men got to do this and men got to do that, and they got to be protectors and providers and all this other stuff. But then you also have the other part where it's like the American dream is now over $1 million. So how you sitting there telling me that I gotta have XYZ and this, that, and the third, and you over here a basket fucking case of marbles? Men are just like, hold on, we gonna have to figure this one out. Let me go ahead and take time out, because now I'm realizing that, oh, okay, I can't get caught up in the lust and the loins, because if I get caught up in my loins, I'm distracted. So they're pausing it. They're really practicing abstinence. Versus you got some women that are only practicing celibacy just because they've been busting it open for the wrong man. But the thing about it is that there's certain attributes within them that's not changing. But with the men, they are practicing abstinence, and their standards, yes, are changing, because they're starting to see a lot of the fuckery that's in the dating game, and seeing how it's just like, oh, okay, I'm going to, if I'm going to sit here and put any sort of sacrifice, there has to be a great reward behind it. I am no longer going to sacrifice all of this blood, sweat, tears for shit, and there is no fucking reward. So, yeah. Let me hold it back a little bit. Let me take this off the table, because they're learning a different part of intimacy. Now it's not just about sexual intimacy. They're like, oh, okay, I'm learning more about the different types of intimacy. I'm learning more about femininity in a different way. I'm learning more about the female and how they move, and even more about myself. And as he is doing that, he is seeing that now he's getting more resources, and everything is flocking to him now. Everything is flocking to him naturally, because that's the dopamine hit for a man. It's just like, oh, all right, the more I pull back, the more I can see. So let me hold this down, because now that's when he learns about himself. So, ladies, what y'all doing? What y'all doing with a man who knows himself, who knows his worth, who knows what he can do? He's still going to be a gentleman. That's not contingent on, oh, you know what? Let me see if you make me feel safe. No, I'm still going to open the doors. I'm still going to take you out. I'm still going to do this. But I'm being smart about it. Now it's steps. Now it's just not, oh, okay, she look good, I'm going to take her out. No, now it's like, first, let me have a conversation with you, sweetie. Before we even get to the restaurant, let's have a conversation. It's assets over ass now. Assets over liabilities. And assets over liabilities, it ain't always just about the tangible, it's the intangible traits. If your nurturing is only based on how he makes you feel safe, he probably ain't gonna be checking for you. So your nurturing is only based off he makes you feel safe, but yet you want him to show up and be a gentleman and all the chivalry, even though you have a wall up. Because walls keep people out, boundaries show people where the exit is. So you're still carrying all that weight, and now you are wanting him to dance and do all this, while this man has been on his path, standing on his square, and understanding himself on a different level and his self-worth. But you talking about, if you don't make me feel safe. If you don't feel safe, then why the fuck you there in the first place? Make it make sense. Oh, that's the problem. That's when you know why? Cause he pulled back. He took that intimacy off the table and said, oh, okay, I know how much this is going to cost me later on down the line. Next. He like, nah, because I already know. Let me keep it moving. Let me keep it pushing. Staying on his square, staying on his path, staying focused. He's wearing his discipline, and he's wearing his discernment. He's wearing him being reserved in a whole different type of way. You see it, because that's why you attracted to it. That's the reason why when he walk in that room, he walking different. That aura is different. I ain't gonna ask you to change no tire, mama. I ain't gonna ask you to change no tire. That's what not this is about. But if I'm changing the tire, are you at least like, oh, okay, let me make sure ain't nothing coming. Like, come on now. So if he practicing it, that's sexy as hell. If he practicing it, that's sexy as hell. Because it's always going to be thrown at him. It's always. And the man that's standing on his square is not really bothered with that. Because it's nothing worse than seeing a man who has it all and then his downfall is punani. I think that is the most least attractive trait. Any man that sit here and he could have all of this and he just easily falls to punani, that's weak. That's weak. That's why there's a lot of men out here that, you know, they strong. They working them legs too. Work them legs, fellas. Don't be out here looking like Johnny Bravo now. Don't know Johnny Bravo body think you calling shots. Work them legs. He working that body. He working that mind. He working. The legs tell it all, honey. Men and women, the legs tell it all. The legs tell it all. Shoot. If she over there acting up and she over there irregular and stuff, you just look down, just be like, baby, did you do some squats today? Did you do some squats? You a little bit off, go do some squats. Instead of taking shots, do squats. Say no to the shots and go do squats. Work that body out. Work that body, baby. Work that body, baby. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. This was fun. I like chopping it up with y'all. What time is it? Oh, 7:15. And I just heard my dinner go off. So, thank y'all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also check out my Patreon as well. Okay? Join my Patreon. All right? What else? Yeah. Love and light. Stay bright.